What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Soul the Samurai coming at y'all with another video today. Y'all already know what it is. So I've given y'all 3 weeks to check out the Spider-Man Brand New Day. If y'all haven't, y'all go watch it because this is a spoiler review. So I'm gonna give y'all time to exit out, do whatever y'all need to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So if y'all are still watching, I'm assuming y'all already seen Brand New Day. If y'all haven't, y'all been warned. I gave y'all time to get out. Spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day follows the course after the No Way Home. So there's a 4-year time lapse from the events of No Way Home to Brand New Day. There is a 4-year time lapse. Peter, he watches MJ and Ned. He watches their IG streams a lot. So every time they go live, he's always tuning in, watching them. He's following their updates. He's, keeping up with them, whatever they post. And they just acknowledge him as Spider-Man and everything, right? So Spider-Man, he's, solving crimes and helping out the police, everything that we see and know Spider-Man to do. That's what he's doing for these 40 years. So during this event or whatever, Spider-Man, he gets caught up with this one chick who y'all already know is what's that bitch? Jean Grey. Yeah, I don't fuck with X-Men. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I can hear y'all now coming at me with pictures with torches and pitchforks. I don't fuck with X-Men. They always get their ass kicked by their own villains. That's a story for another video. So Jean Grey, she's going around like basically mind raping people, and like she's taking over their bodies or whatever. How they have it set up, it's really freaking dope. But yeah, so she's going around, hopping around, and Spider-Man, being Spider-Man, he's like trying to stop like this big ass army truck or whatever, this army tank from wreaking havoc over the city. So he gets everyone out, and then like she ends up hopping into a pilot, and yeah, it was really dope how they have it set. Like the movie itself is a slow burn, right? It's a slow burn. It takes a while to get there, but it's entertaining and keeps you engaged. So so after he figures out what he's dealing with, he meets with that one chick from the Avengers, the new one. I don't really fuck with Marvel. I just like know the characters or whatever. But yeah, he meets with her, and like they're sitting in like this hot tub sauna or whatever, and he's getting all the information or whatever. And during this time it's weird because like Peter, he doesn't like to take off his mask whenever he goes to deal with certain people or whatever. So like he keeps his mask on during this entire sequence. So then after that, he goes and gets more information or whatever. Ned and MJ, they finally come back to town, and they have a housewarming party or whatever. So Peter, he goes and he brings flowers, and he doesn't tell them who he is. Like he just shows up this big ass house party that they're having, and like if we find out that Ned's developed an app for Spider-Man of where he's at, if he's ever around. Like he built like a dead ass app to track Spider-Man. It's like the dopest shit ever. There's some super fanboy shit right there, right? So like he has an opportunity to let them know who he is or not. He doesn't repress his love to MJ or whatever. It's just so. Nah, Peter Parker was not him in that movie until later on. He had so many opportunities, but about that, by the way, y'all know at the end of the No Way Home, or the No Way Home, how he made that wish. Oh, let everyone forget that Peter Parker's Spider Man. That shit was fucking stupid. And here's why, right? He could have wished safety for the people who knew him and wished no harm to come to the people that knew him. Like that would have been they would have still known that he was Spider-Man. Him and MJ would still be a thing, and they would just be like protected indefinitely. Like he would never have to worry about their protection again. But no, he has to wish for a complete mind wipe for everybody, which was stupid. I don't care what you think. Argue with me in the comments. There were so many other things that he could have wished for that made more logical sense. Fight me in the comments, like I said. Anyways, so he goes about being, Spider-Man on his adventures or whatever. Um, so after that whole deal, Peter, he meets with Damage Control. Y'all already know Damage Control. They're the bad guys if y'all keep up with the comics or whatever. They're slightly below Sable, in my opinion. But yeah, he goes to meet with the Damage Control guys, and they tell him about their plans or whatever. And so then, after that, he meets Homegirl again, Jean Grey. Punisher also shows up in this. Frank Castle, yeah, John Bernthal played a kick-ass Punisher. I liked his role as Punisher. He did really well. He shows up in this, especially his first appearance in the film was during that tank scene that I was telling y'all about, and everything that we saw in the trailer during that scene is what's shown. So we show him like shoot Spider-Man. We see him, doing the web slinger on his shotgun, still getting shot in the process, and then like Frank's about to use some profanity. Mind you, this is PG-13, so Spider-Man just hits him with the web. Like, shut up. That shit was awesome. Keeping that tongue-in-cheek PG-13 humor of Punisher trying to go R, which I support. It was awesome. Definitely made me laugh during that whole sequence. So he shows up in that. What else? So during that whole deal, after Homegirl comes back, Parker finds out that Jean Grey can only jump certain distance before she like is unable to, and I think it was like 16 feet. I forgot the exact number. I haven't watched it in like 2 weeks or so, but yeah, it's only a certain distance that Jean Grey can jump for her targets. So he calculates that, and he like makes everything come together. We see him go through his evolution stages or whatever, and what else? He goes to talk to Banner. He goes to talk to Banner, who's working at the Empire State University. So he talks to them, he talks to him, and he talks about creating the mutant collar to control like the changes or whatnot. So after that, he starts working on Dill or whatever. So later that night, he goes and he meets MJ. They talk or whatever, and so MJ, she ends up getting possessed by Jean Grey or whatever. They have like their moments, and then like we learn that for a moment we think that everything's solid, right? But then Jean Grey, when she hops in there, she's like, "Yo, like there's nothing, no memories, nothing of you in here. Like she done forgot all about you. Like she basically telling homeboy, hey, nigga, she don't remember you. Move on, cut your losses, right?" So then, what Jean Grey does with the possession of MJ, she throws MJ out like she falls off the ledge. Like we talking like full on, cartoon Mary Jane, except it's like much more disrespectful because she walks over and she just like just falls. So like Peter Parker, he has to go and he has to rescue or whatever. And then after that whole sequence or whatever, yeah, I should also mention that they did this one little sequence with a kiss, and Parker, he thought that it was really MJ. He didn't know that he was being that if I could talk right, that'd be great. Parker didn't know that MJ was being possessed by Gray. So the little kiss sequence or whatever, and then the jump happened. So then he goes rescue her, and then once he rescues her and everything, he takes her to Frank's boathouse. He has like this big ass boat on the docks. So he takes her over there. He explains the situation to Frank, and Frank's all like, whatever, like, I'm babysitting your girlfriend, like, he's basically like, whatever, like, she's in trouble, I'll help you, but get your shit together, like, pretty much. And then he offers them some chili. Frank, he cooks or whatnot, so he's being very hospitable for his guests. He offers them chili, he offers them food or whatever. So Spider-Man's all like, hey, don't eat the chili or whatever. I was like, fuck you, Peter. Like, you asking him to help you out. Like, don't be ungrateful. So they go, they eat food, and MJ, she's asking Frank about his family because she sees like pictures or whatever, and Frank, he scolds her and tells her, hey, don't be asking questions, da da da, just mind your business, saying lane type, whatever, right? So after that, they go down, and Peter's working on his project or whatever, and he sees a note or whatever. MJ, she falls asleep. He's talking to Frank about it, and so he's like, "Hey, you got to tell her this. Like, what you mean? Like, da, da." So they get into like this little brief argument or whatever, right? So then, like, he goes the next morning, and Frank offers him some coffee, and Spider-Man still has on his mask. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, take your mask off. Like, you don't need it. Like, I'm trying to offer you some coffee. Like, be respectful." And Parker's all like, "Oh no, I don't do that. Da da da." And so they get into like this whole big ass argument or whatever. It was solid, right? So then after that, they go, and let's see what happens after that. So then they go, then they damage control or whatever. They pull back up on Jean Grey. They get her. They take her back to the Dill. And this whole time, Jean Grey's all like, "Yo, VMAX, VMAX," and oh yeah, that happened earlier too with that one chick during the spa meeting. Peter was asking about VMAX because apparently Jean Grey, during the whole tank scene, she heard about this deal called VMAX. So Jean Grey's basically looking for VMAX this entire time, and Parker, he's trying to figure out what's what or whatever. So then all this stuff happens, and so they go. Jean Grey has her whole sequence, and they capture her. And Hulk, he's in there. No, actual Hulk, like big ass motherfucker, look like he just got out the pen. Like he's attacking Peter, and Peter's like, "Yo, I'm your friend. I'm your homie. It's me." Da da da. And then like it was stupid. I'm not gonna lie. That whole sequence, it was really really dumb. Like they're setting up for the Doomsday and the Secret Wars, so I get it, I understand it. I just feel like it could have been better how they did it, introducing people. So yeah, Spider-Man, he got the brakes whooped off his monkey ass, but Spider-Man, he's a hero, whatever, he has to win, whatever, right? So let's see. So he finally is able to go get Jean Grey. She gets the chip. She's captured by the damage control. Damage control, they go, and they take her to their facility. Okay? So during this facility, they're running her brain scans or whatever, and they're learning that her power is like way too busted. And so she finally, like, she just like says, "Fuck y'all niggas, like, I'm taking over the whole shit." And she took over the whole system or whatever. And she's like, "Yo, VMAX was the last thing that my sister saw. Like, what the fuck?" She realized, she puts two and two together, and she realized what was going on, and she went ham. I'm talking about like she froze the whole city. She froze all of New York, and like everyone, like Ned, looking MJ, like everybody just frozen, like they can't move. That's just how busted Jean Grey was, right? So then, after that, after that whole sequence, Peter finally shows up and finds her, and she explains like, "Hey, don't come any close. I'll fucking kill this nigga." Like, yo, and then so Peter's like, "Hey, like it's okay, it's cool, da da da. Just we could talk about this." So then, um, Jean Grey, she like jumps into Parker's head, which is, by the way, something she's been trying to do the entire film, but she's been unable to do it because apparently like Parker's like willpower has been too strong or whatever. But she finally, now that with her newfound power or whatever, like I said, it was really fucking stupid towards the end. She jumps in his head or whatever, and she talks to Aunt May. Like she walks into his room, she talks to Aunt May, and May gives that whole conversation that she gave Peter in Brand New Day. And she gave it the not Brand New Day. That's the one we're talking about. The one that she did in the No Way Home. The No Way Home. That conversation. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. That whole conversation that she gave in No Way Home before she died. That's the conversation that she gives Jean Grey. And like it's a dope, homage sequence. It's a dope scene, whatever for callback. I just feel like they could have done more with it. I feel like they could have, made a new experience for Jean Grey instead of giving her line for line the exact same speech that they gave. But anyway, we see this, and then like she gets back out, and she's all like crying and whatever, and she's like, "I want to be different, da da da. I don't want to do this. I don't want to hurt people." So then like her and Spider Man's all like, they get into like another fight or whatever. The supposed to. She's like, "Yo, like that's cool and all, but look at us. Like people hate us, da da da." And then like Parker, he fights the Hand, which I hope that they bring them back for the Doomsday and Secret Wars because they're pretty badass, especially if y'all know about them from the comics. Yeah, they put in work. So he's getting his ass whooped or whatever, and she's like, "Yo, nigga, are you Parker? Are you Peter Parker? Are you Spider Man?" And he's like, "I'm both." And like, just total aura farm. Like it was pretty badass. So then we see him do some shit that we see in the video games or whatever. They gave him some like dope ass movements or whatever. So then da 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 da, whoa, whoops the Hand, whoops like everybody who was in the vicinity or whatever. And Scorpion's in this too, and they make a quick reference to all of the Sinister Six because like earlier in this, like Jean Grey, she was going around causing havoc or whatever. It was after the MJ, if I'm remembering right. It was after. It was either after or it was before the MJ deal because he was looking. He was like really stressing. Like his police friends are like, "Hey, you need to go on vacation. You get some rest. Like you doing too much. Like you almost killed a cop. Like I can't save your ass if you fucking up or whatever." Like the shit was dope. So that happened earlier. They're making, like I said, they're setting this up for the Secret Wars and Doomsday, which Doomsday's next. Secret Wars is after Doomsday. So then after, back to the current deal. So after that whole fight or whatever, um, MJ, she found out about the letter, by the way. And she's like, "Hey, you could have fucking told me about this shit. Like, what the hell? Like, yo, and Peter's like, "I was gonna tell you," and then MJ's like, "Yeah, you should have earlier." And I don't love you. Like I don't fucking have any memories of us. Like I don't. It's impossible for me to love you, right? Which Parker should maybe if he wasn't such a bitch and like told her the truth, maybe he would have gotten some chance. Just saying. So Parker, he ends up going to the hospital after that whole fight. Punisher, he gets him out because apparently like he put on the mask or whatever. Spider Man, he waves to the fans or whatever, and he's like, "Oh da da da, yay, Spider Man's alive!" So Peter Parker makes an escape, and then afterwards he goes after he gets out of the hospital, he goes to see MJ and he goes to see Ned. They're sitting there doing their thing or whatever, and then after that he's all talking to them, and then like Ned's all like, "Oh shit, Spider-Man, da da da, he's around." And then like they like find out the truth or whatever, and then like they do their secret handshake that they've had since what was Homecoming. That's the first one that they did. That was after the Infinity War. So yeah, they do their whole handshake or whatever, and Ned's all like, "Oh shit, da da da," he's happy. He's happy that he finally sees his boy or whatever. And then they go on, and he's Peter Parker. He's still bringing them flowers or whatever, and yeah, that's pretty much the film. Like he finally, he has his new powers or whatever. His glow up was like stupid awesome, and they set up Jean Grey pretty well. Um, Sinister Six, they hinted at Damage Control. They're going to be big players coming up. I don't know if Sable's going to be in this next one in the Secret Wars. I know in the comics, Sable and Damage Control, like they cross paths momentarily in Secret Wars. So hopefully they'll implement that. Overall, oh yeah, I forgot to mention like those details. All of those details happened. I might have butchered a few of the scenes just because like I don't remember like which sequence happened or whatnot. I gave y'all like the important details of things, so don't get mad at me in the comments. I already know a lot of y'all, but oh, this happened before this and this happened after that. I know. I just gave y'all like major spoilers of what happened. And Natasha, that's that bitch's name. Yeah, I'm sorry. It took me long enough. I'm just sitting there like, no, Natasha. It's not Natasha. Wrong movie. Natasha's the Black Widow. Y'all gonna kill me, ain't y'all? Yeah. Save that for later. Anyways, Spider Man, brand new day. I initially gave it a solid 10 out of 10. Realistically, I gotta drop it to an 8. It's a slow burn. It sets up a lot. It's a lot of fun. But there are just certain things that I feel they could have done better. It's not like the best Spider-Man, but it's the most realistic Spider-Man, if that makes any sense. So if y'all are expecting like fantasy crossovers, anything like that, nah, put that out. This is a grounded, gritty, realistic Spider-Man. It shows him, outside of college. It shows him like actually adult Peter Parker, and that's what I love most about this film is we get a live action adult Peter Parker, which I think is phenomenal, especially after the cheesiness and campiness of Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. This is a nice grounded reality. 8 out of 10. I wish they would have done just a few things better, but it's a solid film, and I highly recommend it. As always, it's your boy Soul. Y'all already know what it is. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, kick ass and dominate. We are Crime Scene. Peace.